Good morning. I'd like to call to order the conference meeting in preparation for the March 22nd regular meeting of the Mobile County Commission. I actually started that about 15 seconds before 10 o'clock, but we're good. Do we have any speakers?
Good morning, Commissioners. Yes, we do. Judge John Lockett.
You're up. Welcome back.
Hard to believe I ever left, really, but I've spent a lot of time down here, and I'm continuing to do it. Thank you for the opportunity to talk briefly with you this morning. I'm here to address what I think is...
Judge, could you pull your microphone down just a
I'm
little?
sorry. Yeah, I'm here to address what I believe is number 22 on your agenda. It's a proposed lease agreement. A couple minor corrections to the specific resolution. It would be with the Alabama Office of Indigent Defense Services, not Prosecution Services. And the $51,000 expressed is an annual rate. And as I'll discuss further, that's conditioned on the state wants to go ahead, is interested in the second part of this, is entering a memorandum of understanding with the county where the state would actually reimburse the county or front up to $2.5 million to pay for the build-out of the fourth floor of 151 Government Street. I'm not sure how much detail, I mean, we've been working very well with Jay Ross. He's been working very hard. We've got probably a few more details to iron out. I'm also talking with the state of Alabama, and hopefully after favorable consideration, I'll be going up there and ironing out some more details with them. But this has been a huge move for the 13th Judicial Circuit. For the entirety of my professional career here in Mobile County, we have approached indigent defense services in a haphazard, very ineffective, and frankly costly manner. The judges have had to chase down attorneys to appoint them. The attorneys that they're appointing, many of them are quite good, quite capable, but unfortunately they're also practicing in Baldwin County, 8 different courts in circuit court, 4 in district court, some in juvenile court, as well as federal court. It creates a number of conflicts. It also has it slows everything down, quite frankly. And frankly, the level of the services could be vastly improved by having one office which is going to hire, train, mentor attorneys whose sole goal will be to attend to the needs of the community who qualify for their services. It was implemented beginning last year. Unfortunately, the pandemic has slowed the speed up, but again, talking with a number of the judges, I think the consensus is already it is helping considerably. And I guess the only analysis I can give you is that typically in a criminal arraignment docket in Mobile County, a judge might get 50 arraignments of new charges against defendants. 40 of those, as many as 40 of them would probably need appointments. So that's 40 attorneys you've got to gather up, and then whose schedule has got to coordinate with that one ADA who's been assigned to your docket. Now, the way it has been working out is there's 1 or 2 defenders who are assigned to that courtroom and only that courtroom. They know who they're working with, where they won't have to chase them down anymore. And again, I think the level of satisfaction has been tremendous. The goal long term is also to work with the Federal Defender's Office to get that kind of cooperation and cross-training in any event. But as far as the county goes, this struck me personally, and hopefully you, as close as there can be in a government situation, a win-win situation. The state is willing to pay for the development and the build out to get the stability of having an office to provide these services adjacent and convenient to the courthouse. We think it's a way to minimize the risk to the county if the state agrees to pay for this build out. And I mean, there are some, we met with a good number of the county staff and others yesterday and walked through the 4th floor and discussed general designs. And the whole concept is when you prorate $2.5 million and the square footage over the square footage that is used, it comes out equal to a commercial lease. And but except we have the convenience, we think the 13th Judicial Circuit, the citizens of Mobile have the convenience of knowing have one place to go instead of 70 or 75 different offices around. But like I said, the concept, the state has been enthusiastic about it. I know Jay's been very good about his office working out, and we've got a few more details to work out, but we would hope that you would give favorable consideration to the idea. And again, just in abundance of, to make it clear, and I think everybody understands, this obviously would be conditioned on the state following through with the memorandum of understanding with the county to pay out, to pay up to the $2.5 million at a reasonable fashion. We discussed at one time reimburse the state or the state would reimburse the county every 6 months. The state is preliminary indicated they'd like to do it more frequently than that, every 90 days. So I think the cost outlet to the county or the cash flow would obviously not be significantly affected in a negative fashion. And with me I have here, where'd he go? Oh, there we go. Art Powell, who is appointed by the Indigent Defense Advisory Board some time ago to be the first public defender for Mobile County. Been working with Art, known him for years. He's supremely qualified to do this job and shepherd it through to conclusion. Can I, if you have any questions, you know where to find me. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And Glenn, I'll give you the corrected wording on number 22. I see the typos.
Any other speakers?
There are no other speakers.
Okay, thank you.
I'll call you.
Number 1, consider approving the minutes of the regular meeting of February 22nd, 2021. Number 2, consider approving the list of claims. Number 3, consider holding a public hearing so any citizen of the county shall be given an opportunity to be heard. Number 4, consider approving a 5% cost of living adjustment to all eligible employees effective April 17, 2021. The COLA will be reflected on May 7, 2021, pay date for employees paid bi-weekly, and prorated and reflected on April 30th, 2021, pay date for employees paid monthly. Excuse me. Number 5, consider authorizing amending subrecipient agreement with the City of Saraland for facility expansion of the Cleveland House to benefit special needs persons to extend the term from March 31st, 2021 to September 30th, 2021. Number 6, consider authorizing minor amendment to the program year 2018 action plan to move $100,000 home funds from acquisition construction of rental units to the down payment assistance program. Number 7, consider approving payment of claims for the home program in conjunction with the United States Department of Housing and Urban Development Program. Number 8, consider authorizing minor amendment to the program year 2020 action plan to waive the requirement that families, households be very low income to participate in the home emergency repair assistance program so as to expand the program to allow families, households with income at or below 80% area median income to also participate as allowed by the United States Department of Housing and Urban Development. Number 9, consider adopting a resolution designating reappointment of Marvina Holloway to serve as a member of the Board of Directors of AlterPoint Health Systems, Inc. Number 10, consider approving reappointment of Linda Roberts and Dr. Feldman to serve as members on the Board of Directors of Mobile County Foundation for Public Higher Education. Number 11, consider approving amending annual contract with Distinguished Young Women to provide a sponsorship agreement for additional funds in the amount of $5,000 from the General Government Special Projects to sponsor Alabama as a state and the Distinguished Young Women of 2021 National Finals events. Number 12, consider approving contract with the City of Citronelle in the amount of $5,000 from District 1 funds for fire truck repairs. Number 13, consider adopting a resolution authorizing requests of the court administration to dispose of certain items and fixed assets inventory lists and approve a transfer of vehicle for Taurus from the 13th Judicial Court Police to Court Administration. Number 14, consider approving agreement with Logical Computer Solutions, Inc. in the amount of $160 per month for 3 years for computer-related email services for probate court. Number 15, consider approving expenses for the Grand Bay Fire District Trustees Place 5 election to be held on March 30th, 2021 as follows. Number 16, consider approving certificate of needs submitted by Baldwin Container Company, doing business as Waste Solution for one vehicle to transport permitted waste. Equipment to be stored at 8315 Willard Road, Irvington, Alabama, 36544. Number 17, consider approving contract with Moffat and Nicole, Inc. to provide professional engineering services for project Saltaire Shoreline Restoration Project. Number 18, consider authorizing to advertise for requests for qualifications for the Mobile County Park Initiative.
If I may, just for primarily public consumption, can we get an explanation on this? Of number 18, the park initiative.
Can you go to the mic, please? Thank you. Mhm.
Good morning, everyone.
Right.
So we've put together an RFQ for the park initiative to seek consulting firms to help us with the engineering and design of our park initiative in whatever park we might want to undertake improvement.
So this will be inclusive of all county parks, and it will give us a master plan to move forward and determine what we have, what we still need, how we need to move forward with any kind of expansion and growth.
And allow us to have multiple projects ongoing concurrently.
Okay. So thank you. I just wanted to make sure that everybody was aware of what our objective here was.
Yes.
Thanks.
Number 19, consider authorizing Hurricane Zeta state local disaster agreement for disaster assistance related to FEMA. Number 20,
I have a question about that one too. Is this the paper, just basically the paperwork that we need to complete to get our reimbursement on this? I mean, is this just,
Yes,
because
ma'am.
it seems like it's way after the fact. This was October of 20.
So we received this from Alabama EMA. They are the recipient of the FEMA public assistance funding. Comes
Mhm.
from the federal agency to the state agency,
Okay.
and then from Alabama EMA down to the locals. And so we need that agreement to receive that reimbursement.
So this is just a filtering process, and now we're getting to the point where we're requesting the money for reimbursement.
Yes, ma'am. We've been working on it for months, but
Right.
hopefully closer to getting reimbursement.
Thank you.
Number 20, consider approving change order number 1, upgrade to the Mobile Metro Jail for the County Commission. If implemented, the change will increase the contract by $357,229. The new contract will be $14,249. Excuse me,
I think that's
$14,249,000.
Yeah.
All right, number 21, consider approving sponsorship for Assistance League Mobile in the amount of $1,000 to be used for its community program from District 1 funds. Number 22, consider approving lease agreement with the Alabama Office of Indigent Defense Services at Government Center Annex located at 151 Government Street for a term of 10 years at an annual rate of $51,000 plus an annual adjustment to the rent with estimated commencement on May 1st, 2022 and ending on May 31st, 2032. and authorize Commission President to execute all documents necessary pending legal review.
A question. Does this 51,000 annually, how are utility?
The current draft will be that the county will pay the utilities except for their internet, telephone. They'll pay the cleaning costs associated with their occupancy. Any capital repairs or maintenance would be our responsibility.
Do we have an idea what utility costs will be, or is that, do we estimate that?
I think Tyler had a guesstimated number, but I do not have that, but I'll provide it to you.
Because that could go up or down, and
It-
I don't know if there needs to be some
We-
consideration of that.
I'll talk with Tyler, and we won't execute it till we respond back to y'all on that. We're some time away from a final version anyway.
Okay,
But if that's of concern, I'll get an estimate from Tyler. He may already have one for power, but I don't know that. And if the commission wants there be some adjustment for the cost of power for that floor, we'll certainly add it.
well, I think it's something to look at and consider.
I don't think the water and sewer is a big cost, but the power may be. Although it is heating, it is cooled now, I understand, but it may be more with 50 or 60 people in the building.
Okay.
But I'll be
Is-
happy to get that
Is a
information.
typical commercial lease all-inclusive, like in a shared space, like,
Typically, a
like yours
commercial
at
lease,
Adam-
it's all inclusive. They factor in those power costs.
But that was my question, has this been factored in? If it hasn't, then it may,
you
that may
know,
be a consideration.
I don't want to tell you, it's been, we took the square footage rate based on our appraisals when we dealt with the city of Mobile and used that number to come up with this equation.
Right, but they pay utilities.
And the city's one, the city doesn't pay power, it's part of their rent.
Right, but that was factored in.
I think so, but I didn't want to, but for me to be specific with you, I need to check that out.
Okay.
So I'll do that before we have any execution of the document. If the commission wants to change something, then we can.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Number 23, consider approving CDP 11421 and CDP 201021 and CDP 30321 sponsorship to the Child Advocacy Center in the amount of $2,500 to benefit of this charity tennis tournament to be divided, and we made a correction there. Rather than between, it should be divided among District 1 in the amount of $833.33, District 2 in the amount of $833.34, and District 3 in the amount of $833.33. Number 24, consider approving work order number 9 with Information Transport Solutions, Inc. to service 18 phone lines at James T. Strickland Youth Center at $15 each per month, totaling $270 per month. 25, consider approving software as a service agreement with Insta CEI, Inc. for access to contractors' non-downloadable, web-based, and downloadable mobile and tablet applications for use in roadway construction engineering and inspection for a term of 3 years at a cost of $21,000 per year plus one-time implementation fee of $3,000. Number 26, consider professional services agreement.
excuse me, could
Yes.
somebody explain to me 25 and why it's important for us?
Commissioner, we have been utilizing software that was created specifically for the engineering department probably over 20 years ago, 25 years ago. And that software has become so outdated that we are at the very cusp of not being able to utilize it at all. And we have been attempting to engage this company here to create some software for us to use to allow us to create monthly invoices for our construction contracts on our roadway projects. And this contract right here would allow us to enter into an agreement with them to provide that software for us to use going forward in the future.
Okay, so this is primarily, okay, what I was interested, it says to give us access to contractors' non-downloadable web-based applications.
My understanding is that once we reach an agreement with this particular contractor to provide this service for us, he will come to our location and aid and assist us with getting this software onto our computers here.
Okay.
And provide us software that we can then provide to our consulting engineers, and we can be the administrators, allowing certain privileges to gain access to this, and it'll be under our control.
Okay.
But we're sort of in the process of still developing this software, making it better fine-tuning it. That's the reason why the cost is so low compared to some of the other softwares that we engage with, because it's still in the development process. But we believe that this could really help us out moving forward in the future and allow us to do what we need to do on the construction
And what
side.
we have is virtually obsolete, is what you're saying?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Has been for several years, and it's hanging on by a thread, and we're hoping that this will help fill that gap moving forward.
Okay, thank you.
Doesn't take long for anything to get obsolete. does it?
Tell me about it.
Number
Hanging up.
20,
Go on. I'm sorry.
Number 26, consider professional services agreement with Results Performance Consulting and Investigations for creation of a centralized employee relations model and implementation of internal investigation processes and procedures at a total cost of $42,975, including training, subject to final legal review. 27, consider approving Fourth Amendment to the Health Services Agreement renewal between Mobile County, Sheriff of Mobile County, and NAVCare, Inc., commencing August 1st, 2021, and ending July 31st, 2022, setting out compensation payable for renewal term. Number 28, consider taking the following actions on bids. Number 29, consider approving projects in the amount of $1,813,686, which will be funded from the fiscal year 2020 general fund carryover. The funds will be transferred to Fund 116 County Improvement Fund. Project numbers will be assigned at a later date. Number 30, consider approving renewal of annual maintenance agreement with Elite, a Thompson Reuters business for Mobile County's Attorney's Office for $1,876.22 for the term May 1st, 2021 to April 30th, 2022. Commissioners, we have two add-ons. First add-on has been requested that we vote at the conference. Number 1, consider approving a $5,000 refundable deposit payable to Portable Restrooms Trailers LLC for the county's intended purchase of a portable restroom facility to be located at Mobile County Soccer Complex. The deposit will be fully refundable to the county should Portable Restroom Trailers LLC not be selected as the lowest bidder for bid number 33-21, and if selected, the deposit will be applied towards the total purchase price.
I know this is a bit out of the ordinary, but right now, these portable restrooms are hard to find, and we have located one. We will go through a bid process, and should another company present an offer that is equal or better, lower price, we'll certainly look at going with that instead. But we've been able to locate one, and all I'm trying to do right now is just make sure it's not sold before we go through the bid process. And the company, the restroom company, has not agreed to this yet, and they may not at this point. I'm hoping that they will agree to accept the deposit, which would be refundable if they're not selected. But it's all just to try to keep it from being sold at this point until we can go through the process.
Is this would this be temporary?
No, we would own this one.
No,
Because-
I mean, we would own it, but is it a temporary solution to be resolved
Well,
later?
you know,
with a
that
permanent- with a
I'm trying to
permanent
scrape
restroom?
together money to build this concession and restroom building, And business is so good. I mean, it is gangbusters out at the complex. 2 weekends ago, we had 2,000 people out there in soccer tournaments. This coming weekend, we expect nearly that many. In between, I mean, we've had ultimate frisbee tournaments. We've had lacrosse. We've had, I mean, it's just constantly full. But these weekends where you have 2,000 people, our little restroom trailers out there is not nearly enough. And so we're going to, the idea is to add this additional restroom trailer and have it out there until we can build other facilities, which has moved up on into phase 2 as far as a priority. And at that point in time, we'll move these to the other side of the complex while that's being built out. And of course, down the road, eventually, it may be moved to another location while construction's going on, or we could end up selling it at some point. But it's very necessary right now, and they're hard to find. We contacted all the co-ops were contacted, under the state bid list, and what's been sent to us, none of it is.
I was just making sure that it wasn't it's such a nice complex, and like you said, we have a lot of activity out there. I just wanted to make sure that this was a temporary until we could get a permanent restroom.
Well, it all goes back to money. This is a priority for me, and I think it's we can't send people away. I mean, you can imagine how difficult it was with one trailer 2 weekends ago, and it leaves a bad impression. And so it's it's a sort of an emergency for us right now.
Is there a
But anyway, I
motion?
will make the motion to approve.
Are we going to vote on it today?
Yeah, because we need to get this
I'll second that.
advertised so we can open bids.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
And the second add-on, consider an amendment to the Region 1 contract for disaster removal monitoring services awarded to Thompson Engineering to increase the compensation paid to Thompson Engineering by the sum of $250,000 over 15% cap.
Commissioners, just one comment. That's my typo. It should be Thompson Consulting Services LLC and not Thompson Engineering.
Should that be up to? Or is it a flat?
I do think it should be by sum of up to, yes, ma'am. But I'll make that comment as well.
And I think just noting here that this additional $250,000 that we would agree to pay, we anticipate that that's going to be reimbursed.
Correct, yes, ma'am. That is the full expectation.
I mean, there's no absolute guarantee on it, but we seem reasonably sure the 90% plus that it's going to be. Is that a correct
fair
statement?
statement.
Okay.
Anything else?
That's it, Commissioner.
Okay. Brian?
Very good. Good morning, Commissioners. Item number 1, recommend authorizing to advertise and receive bids for the remarking of the runway at the Jeremiah Denton Airport. Item 2, recommend authorizing the acquisition of the properties as listed on those various projects. Item 3, consider accepting the report from the county engineer pertaining to the petition for private road, dirt road maintenance for Pine View Avenue. The petition did not qualify for acceptance. That is in Commission District 3. Item 4, consider accepting the report from the county engineer pertaining to the petition for private road, dirt road maintenance for Mossap Road. That petition did not qualify for acceptance, and that is in Commission District 1. Item 5, recommend approving amendment number 1 to the professional engineering services agreement with Mcdonald for the Cottager Road, Mcfarland Road project. That's one of our 2020 pay-as-you-go projects. No additional cost to the county. Item 6, recommend authorizing to advertise and receive bids for the drainage improvements and resurfacing to Sweetown Road and Sweetown Road North. That is also one of our 2020 pay-as-you-go projects. Item 7, recommend approving the work authorization for the professional services with Michael Baker for the Jeremiah Denton Airport. Item 8, recommend, and Commissioners, it should read, adopt resolution approving the Mobile County Commission to apply for FY 2022 TAP funding through the Metropolitan Planning Organization. And that will be for improvements to selected curb ramps throughout the county's urban area. Item 9, recommend authorizing to advertise for a public hearing for the sidewalk improvement project that is mentioned in item number 8. Item 10, recommend approving supplemental agreement number 2 with HCL Contracting on one of our 2016 pay-as-you-go projects, Phil and Jim Road. Item 11, recommend approving supplemental agreement number 1 with John G. Walton on Boothtown Road, another one of our 2016 pay-as-you-go projects. Item 12, it should read, recommend adopt resolution approving the Mobile County Commission to apply for FY 2022 TAP funding, and this will be through the Alabama Department of Transportation for the construction of a sidewalk along Cottager Road from Dawes Road easterly to Leroy Stevens Road, thence north along Leroy Stevens up to the West Mobile County Park Recreation Complex. And item 13 is recommend authorizing the advertisement for a public hearing for the previously mentioned TAP project. Item 14, recommend approving right-of-way and/or easement agreement for Track 4 on the Reaver Road Bridge Replacement Project. Item 15, recommend approving right-of-way agreement on Track 22 on our Dawes Road widening resurfacing project. And Commissioners, item 16, recommend approving final plat of Burlington Estates Phase 2A and accept the roads in the subdivision for maintenance. And that is currently it.
Hey, Brian,
Yes, sir.
do you have any idea how often that Jeremiah Denton Airport is used?
Every time I look into that, I get surprised, Commissioner. It's over 3,000 uses in a year.
By whom? I mean, is that, I know the military, the Coast Guard and military does some things. Is that where most of the use?
That's the majority of the use is through military, Coast Guard.
Yeah.
A lot of it is helicopter traffic.
For military or for other?
Military uses, yes, sir. And some of the helicopter traffic is
How much
for-
private use? Could you figure out how much private use is down there for me?
Be glad
I'm
to
just
do that.
curious. I'm just, that,
I
I mean, I
honestly
was
don't
down
know.
there the other day and there's a lot of money being spent on an airport that I feel like, I don't know how much money the county's spending and how much we're getting back in grant money or from the FFA or whatever, but I never see airplanes down there and I'm just curious as to why we're spending that kind of money on an airport that, I don't know if there could be other uses for the property but if it's just for the military, maybe we ought to check with the military or the Coast Guard and see if they're interested in buying this airport. It's just a kind of a thought in my head. I've never seen an airplane there and probably as many times as I go down that way. I'm sure there are. But I mean, I don't want us to maintain an airport at Dolphin Island for one guy that owns an airplane on Dolphin Island to use, if that makes sense.
Sure. A majority of the traffic is either for the military commissioner or the helicopters that are servicing the oil rigs and gas wells out in the Gulf.
Yeah, unless we can approve to buy a helicopter for District 3, and I could fly from Government Plaza to Dolphin Island.
Nice try.
Could we do that? Can I get a motion?
Good luck with that.
The grants that we receive to provide these improvements to the airport are FAA
Yeah.
grants administered through the Aeronautics Bureau there with the Alabama Department of Transportation, and customarily it's 95-5, which is 90% federal, 5% state, and 5% county. So
Yeah.
we do have a little skin in the game, and we're responsible for administering all these contracts, which Seems to be not much traffic down there, but whenever you add all of it up throughout the
Yeah.
course of a year, I think you're gonna see it's around 3,600 operations
Yeah.
happen during the course of a year. But I have no idea what percentage of that is private and
If
what
we,
is
if we
military.
could we try to?
I'll see if I can
If
come
we
up
can
with some
figure that out,
idea.
how much is private, how much is military?
I think that's a good question. What is the cost benefit to the county
Yeah,
to operate it and continue to operate? It may be well worth it. I think that's the question. We
Yeah,
just
that's-
need to know.
But generally, we have 5% in.
That's
Of all the
correct.
costs, is only 5% of that is ours.
Which doesn't sound
5%
like
of
much,
the
but-
construction improvement cost, and then we
Mhm.
have to pay for the contract for our airport manager to
yeah,
oversee it also, which is an additional $15,000 a year greater.
I'm just
I'll see
wanna,
if I
like
can
I said,
come
I
up
just
with
wanna
some
make sure
numbers.
that we're not maintaining an airport for one person. It just wouldn't make sense.
Okay,
Well, I guess as long as we own it, we have to keep it to a certain level of maintenance, but,
Right.
there
We do.
again, that, begs the question,
and
should
it's
we continue?
inspected just about every year. As a matter of fact, we just got an inspection report in earlier this week where they flew it a couple of weeks ago. And it's in really, really good shape, except for the striping, which we're getting ready to restripe.
Mhm.
Our airport manager does a good job down
He
there for us.
does. I agree with that.
Thank you.
Ricky, you want to say something?
I was just gonna mention the maintenance, so we
Yeah.
pay for the maintenance of it too, like, grass cutting and anything like that, but he did add that in with that 15,000.
Okay. You looking like you wanted to say something, and I didn't want to ignore you.
No, he covered it.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Anything
Brian.
else?
Thanks, Brian.
All right, we stand adjourned.